So, of course, you know about the whole Hamas and Israel situation, and now Israel definitely responded against Hamas, but then, of course, they're hitting up on a lot of innocent people that have nothing to do with what happened on what October 7th, I believe. And of course, people are talking about it, sharing their different views, and Bassem Youssef had a lot to say. The first Bassem versus Piers Morgan went viral, 20 million views or something like that. So they like, you know what, let's do a round two. And there's something that he says in here that really struck me, because I came across it maybe a week beforehand, and it's pretty much just a legit story about what happened to these Ethiopians that wanted to go to Israel, or that came to Israel. So let's hear him say it, and then I'm going to show the article that backs up what he's talking about.
Because in each Jewish town, there is something called admission committee that can decide who can live in this town. It sounds like Jim Crow. And then they cancel it. And you know what they say in the reason? They say, Kafar Radim welcomes all citizens of Israel, despite their race, gender, or color. However, the majority of the town would like to preserve the character of the town as being Jewish, Zionist, and secular. How does this go together, secular and Jewish aside? You know, and this brings me to this picture. This is a very famous picture. You know, remember this picture? I'm sure you've seen it.
Yeah.
This, for the people who don't know, this from San Augustine, Florida, 18th of June, 1964. This was a white-only hotel, and these are black activists who wanted to defy the law and jump into the hotel. This guy is the owner of the hotel. His name is James Brooke, and he was pouring acid to scare them out of the hotel. His neighbor said that James Brooke was a victim because he was just following the law. And you know what James Brooke said? He said, it's not like I don't like black people. I just don't like them in my swimming pools. Now, if an official said that, wouldn't you say that this town has kind of a systemic racism?
Yes.
This quote was not said by James Brooke. It was said by Deton, the head of the Galilee municipality, when he said, I don't like Arabs. I don't just like them in my swimming pools. The town of Nazareth Elite, 2010, the Arab Christians in the town, they requested to set up the Christmas tree next to another. This is the birthplace of Jesus. And you know what they said? We cannot have it because non-Jewish symbols would offend Jewish residents.
But this comes back to what you were saying at the start, which is about the hate on both sides.
No. I'm not talking about the hate. I'm talking about this shining example that Israel won't tell the world that we are like the Western world. We are secular. I don't know if you know this, but they're not just like secular, like Christians against their own Arab. I'm talking about like Arabs with Palestinian, with Israeli identity.
Right.
I'm talking about them being even racist against their own people. 1950, Yemenis immigrants that came from Yemen, and they were in the transition camp waiting to be transferred into Israel. Their kids were taken away from them and given to white Ashkenazi Jews because they were not white enough.
But Bassem, what would happen if a Jewish person went to Gaza?
Why would they go to them?
Exactly.
Even I wouldn't go to them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's my point.
Yeah, it's a dystopia. Who would? But like, but I'm just.
So it's not just this. You're raising points about Israel, making out that somehow they're as bad or worse.
No. But
what's going on there?
No.
Hamas has ruled over
yes,
the Palestinians in the most oppressive way imaginable.
Absolutely, but you know what? Hamas never claimed that they are the only democracy in the region. They never claimed that they are secular. They never said that they adopt Western tradition, and they definitely,
Okay.
they did not use that lie in order to carpet bomb a whole country.
Okay.
Now here, I want to say one example, and I'm gonna leave you.
All right.
Israel, you think that Israel will like, by the way, the whole thing about the Yemeni children, you can find it in New York Times, it's called like the lost children of Israel, the forgotten. But even when Ethiopian people were immigrated to Israel, Ethiopian Jews, women then report, 2013, that's not like 50 years ago, they reported that they were given against their consent and without their knowledge contraceptive shots so they wouldn't reproduce because they are the wrong color. Israel is a racist, apartheid country that is projecting this shiny example of secularism and democracy for the people, so people can accept whatever they do because they look at Palestinians as lesser people. This is the whole point. This is the whole point. And I would like to quote Winston Churchill. He had a code that say, I don't believe that we have made a great wrong to the Red Indians of America or the black people of Australia, because they were replaced by a higher race, a stronger race, a more world wisely race. This is why Queen Rania is criticizing the West. This is why we here said, like, where are your values? Because this is the crux of the problem. It's not Hamas. It's not Palestine. It is people looking at us as lesser human beings.
Awesome.
So much was said in there. I feel like I have to do multiple videos on this now. I have so much to say about this, and I've only seen this one section, really. Well, I saw something else, but that's it. So a friend of mine sent me an article that basically was talking about this, was talking about what Israel did to these Ethiopian women. And it's so disturbing. It is incredibly disturbing. To top it off, it was recently, less than 10 years ago. Let's check out the article. So this particular article is back in 2013, 2 years prior. Basically the same thing, not that long ago. Ethiopian women in Israel given contraceptive without consent. Yeah, they basically sterilized these women so they wouldn't be able to have kids. Let's see. Israel's health ministry is investigating claims that Ethiopian women are being injected with a controversial contraceptive without their knowledge or consent. Thousands of Ethiopian women are said to be receiving shots of Depo-Provera every 3 months in Israeli clinics. The contraceptive stops menstruation and has been linked to fertility problems and osteoporosis. So basically, they're destroying these women's health, getting rid of their God-given right to create life, all to preserve the purity of the color of Israeli people. That's diabolical. That's evil. You know, that is to me, man, like, you know, if you're doing something like that, there is no moral high ground, and that's what makes this whole situation so crazy with the U.S. standing by Israel to this extent. Because I've heard U.S. politicians call for the same thing when it comes to Mexicans coming across the border, you know, basically sterilizing. I've heard of them doing that. So I mean, in a way, they're kind of not so different than these people. And of course, you know, if you look into history and the many different things that have happened to black people in America, you would know we've been screwed in so many different ways, right? We have dealt with so much discrimination and hate and violence and more because other people view us as less than. Many program to view us as less than. Many people in powerful places are sustaining programming to view people that are different than them as less than. It's diabolical. There's so many lives have been lost, drastically destroyed for these lies, for this confusion that's going on. It's not just over here in the States, you know. It's not something that's a part of the past. It's happening actively, apparently, in places that many people would deem to be the optimum of morality, the whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're, you know, if you're in Israel, you're supposed to be like a beacon of it or something, but that's not what's happening, apparently. And there's a lot of just diabolical stuff going on over there, and we're going to get into it and many other things on this channel. The many different atrocities that Israel has done here recently. I'm not saying that it's not understandable that they're hurt or whatever, but the many different atrocities that they're doing to the Palestinians, like the many thousands of children that have nothing to do with what's going on. It's very, very odd that the U.S. is backing them so much, to me. Like, and then the world is watching this. The world is watching this genocide, basically, and they're watching the planet's moral compass, or whatever the hell we're supposed to be, back it. How do we look next to a genocide? I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you think down below. I did a video 10 plus days ago and people were feeling some type of way about it and all this other stuff, upset or trying to make it seem like what Israel was doing wasn't all that bad. How do you feel about this? Is this still not so bad? Is it okay to sterilize and many different women based on the color of their skin? Because you don't want them to, you know, you're concerned about the purity of the skin color of the people in your country. I don't know. Let me know what you think, how you feel about it, and have a good one.